On Trends today, civic group threatens nationwide protest over Sowore's arrest. Governor Bago of Niger State vows not to negotiate with bandits. House of Reps moves to regulate rent hikes nationwide. New INEC chairman Joash Amupitan pledges credible elections. And Navy officers accused of arson, killings, and sexual assault in Ondo communities. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Trends with LJE, where we analyze major stories shaping leadership, justice, and economic growth across Nigeria and Africa. My name is Omoyele Sowore. And don't forget, you can also be a part of the conversation by following us across all platforms on at LJE Nigeria. Joining me to discuss today's topics is a panel whom I shall be introducing after the break. Stay tuned.
Nigeria is at a turning point. Young people are rising, demanding change. If you believe in justice, strong leadership, and real reform, then it's time to take a stand.
At LJE Nigeria, we're not just observers, we're builders. We're tackling leadership deficits, advocating for justice reforms, and driving economic advancement for all.
As a volunteer, you won't just watch, you will be a part of it. You will gain access to powerful seminars, conferences, and mentorships from professionals who believe in your potential.
No matter who you are, whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, a professional, or someone who cares, there's a place for you here.
Network with passionate change makers, build skills, and step into leadership.
Join LJE Nigeria today. Let's lead with truth. Let's build with courage. Let's rise for Nigeria. Become an LJE volunteer today and be the change Nigeria needs. Follow all our social media handles for more details.
Welcome back from the break. This is still Trends with LJE, and I have in the studio with me Mr. Shadrach Oka, a development strategist. You're welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you, Mr. J.
And I also have Dr. John Kamiang, a communications expert. You're welcome once more.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for being here. So now to our first story. The Take It Back movement is threatening to launch nationwide mass protest against President Bola Tinubu's administration, demanding the immediate release of activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. The group, who made this known in a statement signed by its coordinator, Sonyolu Juwon, said the development follows Sowore's arrest on Thursday. Dr. John, I'd love to start with you. You know, we've been following this development since on Monday. What do you think about this latest one?
In a way, I think the current administration did not anticipate the further fallouts of more protests that may occur. But in its wisdom, it thought that by single-handedly picking people they had fingered as key actors in Monday's FreeNnamdiKanu's protest, which also marked 5 years of the EndSARS protest. So, contrary to our initial conclusion that Monday was deafening with regards to the EndSARS protest, it has shown that possibly some actors behind the scene, or puppet masters, if I might use that phrase, have triggered a chain of events that might alter the history or with regards to the freedom of protests, freedom to gather, freedom of association, freedom of expression, and beginning to finger or possibly question certain lacunas with particular reference to the court injunction that, one, did not stop the protest, but highlighted certain areas as high security areas, and then giving room for the police to now give interpretation to that injunction, which has led to the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, and now Omoyele Sowore. So there's a whole lot of dynamics at play right now. Of course, when you look at the legal angle, there's a whole lot of technicalities to what is on ground, and the police on one hand, the civil society on the other. So it's an interesting development, to say the least.
Okay, Mr. Shadrach, let's get your opinion on this. I mean, we've not heard from you on this issue.
Yes, I just think for me, the police and indeed our government are always reactional. I don't think they have been able to manage situations very well.
Okay.
Why we, for a very long time, protest bringing back history into our coffers, and they did. But I think we are missing a point on the significance of history itself that we have called for. For God's sake, there was a significant issue that happened in 2020 and SARS, which they have agreed, government agreed that police brutality should end, SARS should be scrapped. They concur to all of those things. Then people were killed. Patriotic Nigerians were killed holding the national flag. First, there was a denial that army never killed. Then the white people came after investigation to show that people were killed. As we speak today, some are still languishing in jail. Put all those things together. 5 years after that, it is daft. It is, laughable for a government to think people should not commemorate that day. People, loved one died. And then so, anticipatory, I feel that they should already know that people will gather. Now, when they gather, it behoves on you to come address them to the extent of you've gotten a court injunction to restrict them on some areas. So how you manage that situation is very significant. So I felt that they should have come address the people, provide security for them, sympathize with them, and of course, it's a constitutional right, and acknowledge their right to gather. And then lead them. So when that is done, I don't think we will have all of these issues going on. But arresting Sowore, like they have threatened further protests, of course, this is also reactional. They arrested, cherry-picked some people that they arrested, and the person who led the protest have been granting press interview everywhere. He was not arrested until the masses started speaking. This showed the coloration of ethnic and tribal, selective justice. I think, in fact, the police, I was more even disappointed in the comments of the police PPRO yesterday, who is saying that it will look like, because they have arrested other people and the person who led the bush, and after 48 hours after, people have started talking to do that. I don't think they are managing information, this thing very well. So I want the police, of course, there are legal issues as it is now, charge him to court, but I doubt if they will be able to get secure judgment against Sowore, because after all, they did not have any evidence on him crossing those gray areas or red flag areas they have said. If not, he would have been arrested that day. So what is the essence of putting the public? We have a lot of other issues to deal with. I'm talking about the police than, start chasing shadows.
Okay, thank you. And to our next story, Niger State Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago has declared that his administration will neither negotiate with bandits nor pay ransom for kidnapped victims across the state. In a statement issued by a special advisor on print media, Aisha Wakasu, Governor Bago emphasized that his government remains committed in confronting insecurity head-on rather than yielding to criminal demands. Mr. Shadrach, let me start with you. Do you think this is the right step the governor should
I pity the comrade governor, a young man, very enthusiastic and willing to work for his people, but I pity his situation at his stance now because I don't know whether he has what it takes to keep to his words. Because for us, the optics are not very pleasant to the public when we see collaboration between the defense headquarters sitting down with bandits, with their rifles, having meetings, the bandit leaders taking traditional, titles and not attending birthday parties and all that, and they will do nothing. So if he's speaking, I think the defense headquarters will say you are on your own, as far as I'm concerned. But let's see how it goes. But I know to the extent that it depends on who is involved, who is being kidnapped. Of course, if the ordinary citizen, he will free to say that. But I don't think it will happen. He could maintain that stand if a significant figure, is being held captive. We've seen that happen all the time. But again, that is what it should be. I wish it's the federal government that is making that stand and working towards implementing that side, not just to take the top stand. What are you doing? What measures are you putting in place? But I have not seen Niger State, State House of Assembly maybe passing a law on maybe the neighborhood watch or anti-banditry laws and putting up a paramilitary outfits to engage those things in terms of prevention now. But if it happens, we only pray But as far as I'm concerned, the laws of Nigeria, those statements are just political.
Okay, quickly, Dr. John, do you share the same opinion?
Well, it depends on what the governor of Niger State has in mind. I'm happy Mr. Shedra talked about, because what I expect from my standpoint, he shouldn't have even made the comment in the first place.
Okay.
Now he has given away the element of surprise. What I expected was go send a bill to the State House of Assembly, telling them to enact laws that, one, empower citizens to defend themselves. Two, set up a state security outfit with clear, defined instructions as to how they will perform, what their standard SOP, standard operational procedure will be, clearly defined, and then have meetings with the chief of defense staff and say, look, these are laws that have been enacted in my state. I need federal support in whatever capacity to ensure that these laws are enforced and properly implemented, and remind them that Niger State is just less than an hour or two from Abuja. And remind them of scenarios where some of these bandits have successfully entered suburbs in the Federal Capital Territory. And so it will be wise for them to invest in ensuring that Niger State becomes the forward operating base to annihilate this threat. And if he smartly puts it to them and they see the reality, maybe for the first time in the history of our nation, we'll see a deliberate attempt at state level, supported by federal empowerment, to really get, because the question that begs us right now is, what is our policy when it comes to dealing with internal and external threats in the name of banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, just to mention a few.
Okay, moving on. The House of Representatives has condemned the growing trend of arbitrary rent increase across Nigeria, urging that no rent hike should exceed 20% of the current rate, regardless of infrastructure. The lawmakers called on the federal government to invest in affordable housing projects to ease pressure on the rental market and ensure access to low-cost housing for Nigerians. Mr. Shedrack, do you think the government has a right to tell landlords how to regulate the prices of their rent?
Well, you've mentioned the word rights. We all, it's very unfair, the way the pricing situation in Nigeria, not just housing, every other commodity. Nigerians just fix prices arbitrarily. And that it's because of how government treats us also. In big markets, things that government ordinarily should control and interfere, we don't see them do that. With our datas and other utility bills, that is the direct control with the government, they don't intervene. And so when it comes to housing also, it's a very major threat to us. You see housing units being inflated. High cost, landlords put price anyhow. But they are saying in spite of infra, but these are a bulk of costs that is being passed across to them. You don't want to put laws and when you are not looking at the primary issues that leads to this. We still buy cement in thousands and every other housing cost unit also very exorbitant prices. So I don't think they have the right actually to go ahead to implement what they think is a good policy they want to without intervening in these other cost-related issues like the cost of cement and other materials, which we don't even produce. And the cost of cement we produce, but you can see how it is. Just a few weeks ago, Olusegun Obasanjo gave the story, the history on how Dangote became a sole, manufacturer of cement. But it's very unfortunate that that monopoly, I think that is what they should look into. Grant more license to other people, see how you can crash the price of cement, and then you may have the rights, fully supported by law, to deal with the issue of bringing down the cost of rent. But if they succeed, it's a welcome. After all, that is what directly affects the citizen.
Okay, Dr. John, what measures, just one quality measure, you think the government should take to assist landlords to implement this?
Well, this is not new because under the administration of Raji Fashola, was able to bring into place laws that control rent and a whole lot of things. At a point in time in Lagos, a landlord will tell you to pay 3 years rent ahead. I mean, and so my challenge with our lawmakers is that they seem to live in an isolated bubble. Because if they are not living in an isolated bubble, they will know that Lagos was at the forefront of this. Abia has joined. Enugu in recent times. Ebonyi. You understand? So what I expected them to do is bring all of these moves together, look at the functionality of those laws and policies, and borrow.
Okay.
And rather than come out with outright pronouncements of, because you must be able to balance constitutional rights with what would I call it? Just legislative pronouncements. Okay. So I feel that this may be a tall order. And besides, as I have said severally on this platform, Nigeria is not bereaved of laws, but it is bereaved of proper implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of those laws.
Okay. And to our next story, the newly sworn-in chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash Amupitan, has reaffirmed the commission's commitment to conducting free, fair, and credible elections that truly reflect the will of the Nigerian people. Speaking at the INEC headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, Professor Amupitan emphasized that the integrity of Nigeria's electoral process is non-negotiable, stressing that every voter must have confidence that their vote counts. Let's take a look at the video.
Taking the oath of allegiance and also the oath as the chairman of Independent National Electoral Commission. So I will reaffirm what I have just taken, that I'm going to defend the Constitution and the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as far as it relates to the electoral system. And like the president said,
How do you react to this video? Do you think Professor Amupitan is a good fit for our electoral body?
It's a good fit. Even myself said I will be a good fit. Nigerians have never lacked anybody in that capacity to chair INEC. If you look back to history, we have competent people, Professor Iwu, Professor Jega, and the Mahmoud that just left. They're all competent and have people who are attest to their integrity. But when it comes to now, you are there now, score the goal. That's where the problem lies. I heard him said he's going to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the laws as pertaining to INEC. What that showed clearly is that whatever that law provides is what he is going to now defend. That is very tricky for me, because the last Mahmoud, we saw all what he said. We spent taxpayers' money in billions, putting up laws. But when it matters the most, they sat back. So for me, we wish him well. But significantly, his name, Joash, from the Bible perspective, I think he's a reformer. So I just hope that he's able, when it matters most, have the political will to do the right thing. But most significantly, is a part of the laws as it stands now, that transmission in real time. So if that is done, where they upload and in real time Nigerians are able to monitor, that is the credibility, transparency. That is what will boost confidence. Anything short of that, I think they are just on the wall of their own. I wish him well.
Okay, and finally, some officers of the Nigerian Army have been accused of committing grave human rights violations in 3 Ilaja communities of Ondo State. According to reports, the naval personnel allegedly invaded the communities on Sunday, October 19th, destroying properties, setting fire to a local bakery, and killing 2 residents. The officers were also accused of repeatedly assaulting and raping women in the area. Dr. John, what step do you think the governor of the state should take as regards to this news?
The military is a different institution. It has its own laws, regulations of how rank and file should carry out their duties. What I expect is that the governor and the people of Ondo State should petition the military high commission and ask for justice. They will carry out their internal investigations, and if their men and officers are found culpable, they will definitely face court martial.
Okay. Thank you very much. And that's where we wrap it up on this episode of Trends with LJ. Thank you to our panelists for being a part of the program. And to you, our viewers, thank you for joining us. And don't forget to follow the conversation on at LJ Nigeria across all platforms. My name is Omoyele Sowore. Bye for now.